Look around. You see them every day. The illusionists, the financial holograms walking among us. They look like they own the world, but they don't even own the watch on their wrist. Meet Dot. Dot looks successful. Dot wears Italian leather. Dot talks about making moves and crushing it. Dot's Instagram feed is a masterclass in luxury. Yachts, bottle service, first-class lounges. You look at Dot and you think, he figured it out. You think you are falling behind. Stop it. You are buying the illusion. Dot is drowning. Dot is a symptom of an epidemic. We live in a society that has weaponized the appearance of wealth to hide the reality of debt. Dot isn't wealthy. Dot is highly leveraged. He trades his future security for present-day validation, and he is desperate for you to believe the lie. Look closely at Dot. The phone is the newest model, but the cellular plan is late. The suit is tailored, but the credit card he used to buy it is maxed out at 24% interest. He operates on a razor-thin margin of error. One missed paycheck, one medical emergency, one slight disruption in his cash flow, and the entire facade collapses. Today, we are ripping the mask off. No fluff, no promises of overnight success. We are breaking down the hard data, the psychology, and the absolute math of financial deception. We are going to examine the exact psychological mechanisms that trap people like Dot. More importantly, we are going to look at the boring, systematic educational frameworks that actually build a foundation. By the end of this script, you will never look at an influencer the same way again. Here are the 10 undeniable signs to spot someone who is completely, utterly fake rich. Sign number 1, the billboard complex. True wealth whispers, fake wealth screams. Look at the logos. If someone's chest looks like a billboard for luxury brands, they aren't rich, they're insecure. In economics, this is driven by the theory of conspicuous consumption, coined by sociologist Thorstein Veblen over a century ago. People buy Veblen goods. These are items where demand artificially increases as the price increases. They are not bought for utility, they are bought strictly to signal status. The genuinely wealthy do not need to prove they have money to strangers in a coffee shop. They buy for quality. They buy for anonymity. The fake rich buy a $900 t-shirt with a massive logo because they need you to know they spent $900. It is not an asset. It's an expensive cry for help. It is a depreciating billboard advertising their own financial insecurity. Sign 2. An obsession with depreciating metal. What does Dot drive? A brand new top-tier luxury sedan. What does the data actually say? According to decades of consumer research, a massive demographic of actual millionaires drive used Toyotas, Hondas, or Fords. Why? Because they understand the brutal math of depreciation. A car loses 20% of its value the second the tires roll off the dealership lot. The fake rich see a car as a trophy. The actual rich see it as transportation. If someone has a $90,000 car but rents a cramped apartment with 3 roommates, they do not have a wealth-building system. They have a bank loan they can barely service. They are voluntarily destroying their capital. They are paying interest on an object that is mathematically guaranteed to be worth less tomorrow than it is today. Sign 3. The financial vocabulary deficit. Talk to the fake rich about money. Listen to the words they use. Hustle, grind, manifest, vibes, next level. Now, talk to someone who actually understands the architecture of finance. They talk about systems, cash flow, tax efficiency, opportunity cost, compound interest, diversification. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect in action, the cognitive bias where people with low ability overestimate their competence. The less someone actually knows about financial systems, the louder and more confident they are about their vague, meaningless buzzwords. If they cannot explain the fundamental difference between a Roth IRA and a standard brokerage account, but they try to sell you on their mindset, walk away immediately. They are selling air. They possess no underlying framework. They only know the lyrics, but they cannot read the sheet music. Sign 4. The short-term rental trap. We live in the access economy. You can rent a private jet for an hour just to take photos on the tarmac. You can rent a mansion for an afternoon. The fake rich manufacture their entire digital footprint using short-term rentals. They curate a life they absolutely cannot afford. This is driven by a psychological phenomenon called the idealized virtual identity hypothesis. They construct a digital avatar that reflects who they want to be. It is totally divorced from their economic reality. Look at the background of their videos. Does the house change every week? Do they only ever show the inside of the car but never the garage? It is rented. All of it. They are funding a theatrical production where they are the star, and their bank account is the ultimate victim.
Sign 5. The $500 panic. Here is the ultimate litmus test. The fake rich wear $2,000 shoes, but if their car needs a $500 alternator replacement, it is a catastrophic financial emergency. They have to split the mechanic's bill across 3 different credit cards. Statistics consistently show a massive percentage of high-income earners are living completely paycheck to paycheck. They suffer from severe lifestyle creep. As their income goes up, their spending goes up to match it perfectly. This leaves a $0 margin of safety. They have no liquidity. They have no emergency fund. Their entire financial life is a fragile house of cards held together by minimum monthly payments. One gust of wind, one unexpected invoice, and the entire structure collapses into bankruptcy. Sign 6. Trading on proximity. Fake rich people constantly name drop. They talk about who they met. They talk about who they had lunch with. They talk about whose VIP party they attended last weekend. Why? Because they lack intrinsic value. Therefore, they try to siphon status from others. It is the psychological halo effect. If they stand close enough to someone successful, they desperately hope you will assume they are successful too. People who build real financial systems do not care who you know. They care about what you can do. They care about your execution. Name dropping is the currency of the broke. It is a distraction tactic. It diverts your attention away from their lack of personal achievement and forces you to focus on the achievements of the people they happen to stand next to in a crowded room. Sign 7. The guru pivot. If someone is constantly trying to sell you a course on how to get wealthy, ask yourself a very logical question. If their wealth generation system was so bulletproof, why are they desperately trying to squeeze $97 out of you for a downloadable document? They aren't wealthy from their business. They're trying to get wealthy by selling you the illusion of their business. They operate in a closed-loop echo chamber of grift. True financial education teaches systemic, slow, completely unsexy habits: budgeting, index investing, risk management, asset allocation. The fake rich sell you the dream because they know the reality of building a system is too boring for you to buy. They monetize your impatience. Sign 8. All outcomes, zero process. The fake rich only talk about outcomes, the yacht, the house, the eventual massive exit. They never talk about the daily, grueling, monotonous process of actually building a system. Psychologically, this is known as hyperbolic discounting. They prefer the immediate, intense dopamine hit of looking rich right now over the delayed, quiet gratification of actually becoming secure later. They completely lack the discipline for process, and without process, outcomes
outcomes are just lotteries you haven't lost yet. They want the summit, but they refuse to climb the mountain. They ignore the unglamorous mechanics of wealth creation, spreadsheets, tax planning, legal structuring. They skip the foundation and try to build the penthouse first. It is architecturally and financially impossible. Sign 9. The check-splitting amnesia. You know this one. They order the expensive steak. They order the top-shelf bottle. They talk loudly about their latest six-figure deal. But when the check finally hits the table, suddenly they have to make an urgent phone call. Or worse, they suggest splitting it evenly when their meal cost 3 times as much as yours. True wealth is generous, or at the very least, true wealth is mathematically fair. Fake wealth relies entirely on you subsidizing their performance art. They use social pressure to force others to fund their lifestyle. They are parasites wrapped in designer clothing. If their bank account matched their bravado, the dinner would be covered. Instead, they weaponize awkwardness to protect their dwindling checking account. And finally, sign 10, the loud complainer. The fake rich will spend $5,000 on a vacation just for the photos, but they will scream at a waiter over a 50-cent charge for extra sauce. They will stiff the valet. They will aggressively haggle over pennies with hard-working freelancers. Why? Because they are intensely stressed. Every single dollar actually matters because they have absolutely none in reserve. Their hostility is a psychological defense mechanism. They project power through arrogance to mask their intense financial vulnerability. They bully service workers to feel a sense of control that they entirely lack in their own financial spreadsheets. It is the ultimate tell.
Let's go back to Dot. Dot hit a wall. The credit cards maxed out. The illusion shattered. The dopamine wore off. He had a choice. He could keep lying to himself, or he could look the truth dead in the eye. Dot chose the truth. He understood the psychology of his own trap. He realized he was suffering from the billboard complex. He realized he was trading systemic wealth for the halo effect of temporary status. So he changed his inputs to fundamentally change his outcomes. He returned the leased Mercedes. He bought a reliable 10-year-old car. He stopped buying Veblen goods and started buying index funds. He stopped using the word hustle and started learning the brutal, boring math of compound interest. He stopped renting a fake life and started owning his actual reality. Dot isn't driving a supercar anymore. He isn't popping bottles on social media. He doesn't look rich. Frankly, he looks boring. But for the first time in his adult life, Dot sleeps through the night. If his car breaks down, it is a minor inconvenience. It is no longer a financial tragedy, because Dot stopped playing the unwinnable status game. He started building an actual system. He traded the toxic, exhausting, relentless burden of looking rich for the quiet, unshakable peace of being financially secure. The game of faking wealth is a game you play against yourself, and the house always wins. Stop trying to look rich to people who do not care about you. Build systems, understand the math, protect your peace. If you want to stop falling for the illusions and start understanding the reality of systems, you know what to do. Hit the like button to feed the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next breakdown. And drop a comment below. Tell me the most ridiculous sign of fake wealth you have seen in the wild.